dreamed of being on the Cup side full time. So I think it's really cool that somebody like him is getting the opportunity to go do that, and I think they picked the right guy. I've seen how hard he works and how much effort he puts into it, and they picked the right guy.
How do you think him and Kyle will mesh together?
Listen, I've been around Kyle a lot. Kyle is very analytical and understands these race cars really well, and I think what he's willing to put in, Jim will match or exceed, right? And so, I think that they're going to have to figure that out. But I know Kyle was involved pretty heavily in making that decision and who he wanted. And I think if you sit down with Jim for more than 15 minutes, you'll understand really quickly his intensity to go win races. And I think that's something that Kyle was looking for, right? Kyle wanted somebody that would kind of match his energy, and I think they got the right guy for that.
It sounds like you guys are taking this in the most positive way that you can. What does that do in terms of your championship run? Is there one of these let's win run before he heads out?
I mean, I don't know many crew chiefs that could come in. If we were to win the championship this year, I don't know many crew chiefs that could come in and have a second, a first, and a first, right? That would be pretty incredible stats. But, I think, what Jim and I have been friends since I was a little kid, and I've known Jim my whole life. And I've been lucky enough now to win a championship with him in the ARCA Series and obviously here last year in the Xfinity Series. And, one of the things that I think is prevalent in my mind is I can see when this started weighing on him, he focused on getting us to where we needed to be, right? When he started to try to internalize some of the stressors of what that looked like and making those decisions, it made him focus harder on the racing program and how to go. Like, that's his stress reliever. As odd as that sounds, like that's where he went. He dug deeper. And, I feel like for him, our relationship is what probably held him back from making that decision earlier. And we've talked about that a lot, and I think that, he didn't want to leave the 7 group, right? He's built a great team around him, and so I feel like he's let that weigh on him. And so he's put more effort into making sure that all the details are finalized, and he wants to win. Like, there's nobody that wants to win the championship as much as he does. And so, I think that helps me. It gives me that comfort. Like, we're not in a lame duck situation where, he's going to another Xfinity team or going to work with another Xfinity Series driver. He's 100% committed to going and winning a championship this year, and that's encouraging for me, and we all want to send him off with that championship as well.
Where does this leave you, Justin, as far as conversations and direction of who's going to work with you next?
It's a great question. Something that I asked that we wait until after Phoenix to start talking about, just because I feel like I owe it to our group to stay in the picture. This obviously had to be announced because just there had to be too many people involved from a manufacturer standpoint and a team standpoint and contracts and all these things that we needed to get this out there. Because I think it was more of a distraction when it wasn't announced. That being said, I think for me, I'm probably in a little bit of a different situation. That we have great crew chiefs within our shop that as of right now aren't tied to a certain car or have a full-time crew chiefing opportunity at the moment. So we have to look internally as much as we do externally. So I think we have some time, and I just felt like getting through Phoenix was more important for me than to go from there.
So there's no chance that you're going to win a second championship, drop the mic, and say goodbye or anything like that?
Jim actually asked me that. He said is that the case? And I said no, I don't see that happening. As much as I would like to do that, just from I don't know that you could get any cooler of a moment than to be on the stage and to be like, I'm out. But no, that's not my plan. No. Yes, I would, given him coming to our shop, but that's not. He was hired specifically for the one car, so that's not an option. There's a lot of things already in place at our shop that won't be changed, and that's okay with me. I'm fine with that.
When did you and Jim start talking about this?
This has been a couple of weeks. Not that long, honestly. The whole deal transpired very quickly for them. I don't think any of this started until after Randall was gone. So, what was that, 3 races ago that Randall was off of the 8 car? I don't really feel like, based on the conversations that I've had with Jim and kind of what I've seen from you guys and what the team has said, I don't really know that that was a planned departure, right? I think that they were trying to get to the end of the season like I am and figure it out. And I feel like when things change, then obviously they had to kind of call an audible and try to figure that out. And, you know, I listened to Austin. He was on Sirius the other day, and I was really interested and surprised by his comments, right? When I look at RCR and I look at the people that have kind of departed in the last, let's just say 4 years, right? They were very top heavy with a lot of talented people, and a lot of those people have now gone. And you know, Jim has always told me from his time there that they had a lot of depth within, but they were trying to kind of as people would leave, how do you fill that hole, right? And what people do you use? And Austin went kind of in depth in that on his interview, and I thought it was really good. It was good to listen to, and it was cool to see Austin being involved. Obviously, as deep as it sounded like he was. Listen, we need all these teams to be strong and to be healthy and to grow and keep our sport going in the right direction. And so I'm excited to see them kind of understanding where they're at internally and taking a guy that has been there before, that you know moved away to try to better his career, to bring him back and obviously elevate his career as well.
Justin, is it safe to assume that your deal is done for next year? You'll be
Yeah.
back?
Yeah, my deal's done for next year, back in the 7 team. You know, obviously there's a lot of holes and questions to figure out what that looks like, but yeah, I'll be back next year again.
Justin,
What attributes does Jim have that you feel like